Hello everybody, this is Doug Friend from Historical Board Gaming. Hey, I thought I'd talk a few minutes about a few things. As you know, it seems like everyone's engaged in what's going on there in the Ukraine. Um, it's a sad time for, I think, the world. It's probably going to be a hard time for a lot of people. The reason I wanted to talk, there's been some talk, some chatter, emails, messages to Historical Board Gaming. We launched our 2025 game. It was a game designed by Will Henson, and he and I had, worked on this, hypothetical war taking place in the near future. Um, you know, After doing all the research, it seemed like, China was going to be the problem child. Um, and of course, we see Russia doing their thing. Not to say that China won't do theirs. Um, as war gamers, strategists, tacticians, we all play war games for a reason. We all, the ones we enjoy it. It's strategy, it's tactics, it engages us. A lot of us are military historians. We just enjoy it. And I've had a few people, and don't get me wrong, the people who are watching, this is not directed at you. This is just something that me, as the owner and president of Historical Board Gaming, feel strongly about. We've had a few people say, hey, your 2025 game, your prophets, you guys are, prophesizing what's coming in the near future. Maybe you should come out with some scenarios with the Ukraine, starts in 2022, this, that, and the other thing. And that's fine. People who, I understand it's simulation, and that's what we do. We play World War II games, World War I, or any game. We're not there to play and like, oh, I just killed 1 million people, or I just do. No, I don't think any of us do that. We play for different reasons. We all understand that people died, and we all understand the atrocities of war, but that's not that's not why we play. But because it's happening now and people are dying, I don't feel like it's probably good for HBG to do it. Not that it's bad PR, which probably a little bit, but it's just something I don't want to do. A couple of reasons. One of my designers is from the Ukraine. His family in the Ukraine. He's devastated. He's very worried, and I feel for him. I have another designer who does models for us who lives in the Ukraine. I've emailed him. So far, he's safe. I told him, is there anything I can do? Do you got food? Do you got supplies? Let me know. And, I've done it before when last time they were invaded. He told me they were like 35 kilometers from his house, and he was very worried. So it's just things like that. These are real people. These are human beings and people that HBG interacts with. So for me to say, hey, tell some of my designers that, let's capitalize on this, get some extra sales with, I'm not going to do it. We continue to put out, 2025 pieces. Whether, I know I've got some Russian ones I'm working on. I've got some Italian ones I'm working on. We've already had the models, and it was just a matter of getting them out for sale. But I just wanted people to know that I'm not dismissing your ideas. I'm not dismissing that you've got, valid, and I'm sure one day after this is gone and done, and there might be some scenarios for it, games that come out with it. But it doesn't take anything away that people still are dying and losing homes, and there's going to be refugees, and it's a bad thing. As Americans, we've been very, very fortunate that haven't had wars on our own soil. And of course, my lifetime, I was still very young during the Vietnam War. Of course, I wasn't around for Korea, but even in the wars there in Afghanistan, the Gulf Wars and things like that. I even have a son's been over there 3 times, and that's another thing. A lot of people have family, whether sons, daughters, parents, that are in the military, and they're going to go in harm's way. I just talked to my son yesterday, so I wanted to touch base, and he's Air Force. Fortunately for me, as a father, he's probably pretty safe, if it escalates, and things like that. So we don't know yet, but let's see. I just wanted to address that, and I know there's people out there. We've had, we're designing games. We have people that chime in on it, and I've got some great designers. They try to give information back to the best we can. And there's people that get their feathers ruffled, and I don't understand. We've had people chime in, and and a designer will say something about, no, that's not what we're doing, or this or that, and the person gets mad and leaves the group, leaves the Facebook page, because they don't want to. They don't agree with the way we're doing something, and that's fine. We are not a perfect company. We are not a perfect game design and everything else. And I tell, people will email me or message me. It's like, hey, 36, great game. We love it. But this one rule here, it doesn't work. We don't like it, or they don't like it, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, house rule it. House rule it to your liking. It's there. The game is there. It works. It's balanced. People love it. It continues to sell. But I don't understand why people have to get so bent out of shape. There's just so many things in this world to worry about, and I think as definitely as Americans, of course, I see it. I think a lot of us have lost what's really, really important to us anymore. We've taken a lot of things for granted, and me too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not throwing a rock in a glass house. We've all gotten a little spoiled, or sometimes a lot spoiled. But, I'm probably one of the older ones and been around a while. So I've seen things come and go. And, I listen to my parents, grandparents, and things about, their upbringing. So I just want everyone to know that, HBG will continue to develop games. We don't dismiss people's ideas and what they want, but we can't do everything. These games are designed as a global game. People want more tactical stuff in it, and it's not. We try to do what we can, and sometimes some of these expansions that are in there do become a little bit more tactical, but sometimes we have to dismiss things, and sometimes we have to take liberties. You get a game and then it's not balanced, and you have to add this or take this away, or hey, this wasn't really there, or they didn't have that many. I've seen so many people, I shouldn't say so many people, a few people say that wasn't there, or they had a bigger military, or well, maybe it was done because of balancing, or maybe you just don't know everything about the way games are designed here at HBG, and then it's tough. It takes years to go through this stuff. It takes a lot of information. Like I said, I've got tons of books, a bunch of reference, and like I said, we utilize all our designers, and we get input from other people. So I think people need to take I don't want to be harsh, just a chill pill on some of this stuff, and enjoy the game, enjoy the people around you, enjoy the camaraderie, enjoy that the amount of time that the designers have worked on this. I've got designers, and I know I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I've got designers that work very hard on these games, and they do not get paid. They are not paid to design these games. Now they get, HBG, I take care of them the best I can with product and things like that. I, make sure that their names are on it, whether we can get pictures on posters or whatever. And that's the best, I can do as a small game company. But I think some of these people out there are very hard on these designers, and none of them claim to be perfect. If anyone's hard, probably, I'm hard on my designers. I push them, I question them. I'm like, I do this, I do that, and ask any one of them. Sometimes, they've probably been a little a little upset with me, whether I'm like, nope, that's not the way I want it. No, it's being not redesigned, but we're going back a step because I want this in there. This should have been done this way. And part of it's my fault, because I can't always be there for everything. So things, still got to continue down the road. It gets a little too far, and I want them to back up, or I want this certain things in it. And even though I have had lead designers, like Admiral Seabass who's doing 1985, my input is still in there on things. I do have things that I see, that I want, that I know about, whether it's 1936. I mean, ask these guys when 36 was, when Will and I first designed 36 and it went to the, V3, and then another designer got involved, and I said, I want this and that, and whether 1914, and Colonel Hatcher was working on it with General hand grenade, and I'm like, I want this in there, and I want this, and make these work, and they had to back up. But so I am hard on my designers, but I think I have a lot to offer. I started the company with a vision of things I would like to see. I think I have an eye for detail on things, just like, many of my designers. Not everyone, I am not an artist. I do a lot of concepts. I do a lot of outlines. I'm not a rules writer. I'm not a finisher on that, on definitely on that. But, like right now, we've been going through the 1914 map. I kind of showed you all on that one video, and my designers have been going through it, and I'll be going through it for the next, I told them I'll be going through it for the next few weeks, because I pull it up and I look at where a rondel is, size. I look whether text is stacked, double stacked, does it look good, islands positions. I mean, I'm moving things, dockyards, shipyards, seaplane bases. I mean, I'm moving stuff around. I mean, ever so slightly, but I'm really picky about that stuff. I think that comes from me checking drawings as a draftsman during all the refinery stuff I did. I mean, you had to be very accurate putting these huge refinery heaters out in these refineries, and everything had to add up and everything had to work. And I think that's my strength I bring here to my designers. I leave the rules writing to the guys who know how to do it, and but the concepts, the ideas, something like that, a lot of that stems from me, and as well as all the other designers working on the games. So I've got a great group. But I just wanted to touch base on this with the thing with the Ukraine. I know, I told, and I mentioned this before. I've done stuff in the past where something comes up, and it's like, I know we've had our share of shootings here in the States, the mass shootings, school shootings, or whatever, and people say, hey, our thoughts and prayers are with you. And then someone will chime in and go, well, we need more than just thoughts and prayers. And I'm like, okay, yes, granted, there's definitely a problem, but why, and of course they become more vicious. Why do they attack when someone says, my thoughts and my prayers are with you? And it's sincere, just like our thoughts and prayers are for the people in Ukraine. I think the majority of the people in Ukraine are Christian people. And whether you believe in Christianity or not, that's what they believe. That's who they are. And people, stand with them. You can stand with them, and you don't have to agree, but also you don't have to be ugly about it or whatever. If you don't agree with it, just say, okay, that's fine. I don't agree with certain things, certain companies and the way they do business. And guess what? I don't do business with them, or I don't shop there. but I don't get on these bandwagons about it. Some people just got to go crazy over this stuff, and I don't understand it. I've seen people on gaming where they're going like, I don't agree with. I know there was one person that said, I don't agree, I don't like the Global War 1936, and I don't like it so much. I'm going to make a YouTube channel, and all it is going to be everything I don't like about the game. Well, it's still a free world. We still have freedom of speech, and I am definitely for that. And they can do with what they want. And I don't agree with it, but they can do it. I think it's petty to do that. And to me, I mean, I grew up where if I didn't like something, I walked away. If I was in the wrong place with the wrong group of people, I remember going to high school. I was not a drinker. I was not a partier. I didn't do drugs. I didn't do any of that. And sometimes I go, get invited to a party, something like that, and some things start coming out and I didn't agree with, and I'm like, well, it's time for me to go. So, we all make our own choices, whether you agree or not. I think, these things that are happening in the world today, I mean, it's troubling. It's definitely troubling. We just got out of 2 years of COVID, and that, big division in people about whether you agreed with the vaccines, not vaccines, masking, no masking. And, I definitely have my opinions on it, and I've stated my opinions to many people. I've got designers from left to moderate to right, but we're all friends first. My designers and us, we're friends. We're all friends. Whether I agree with their politics or not, it doesn't matter to me. They can believe what they would believe. I might not like it. It's not a matter of like it. I disagree with it, but I'm not going to sit there and just, go on a rant about it to them, because you know what? They're my friend first. Whether they believe in certain politics, certain religion, whether they like apples over oranges and I like pears, it doesn't matter. And they're good people. Now, don't get me wrong. There's certain people that are just bad seeds that I probably would not hang around. My wife and I kind of surround ourselves with like-minded people. We went to dinner the other night with a couple, and they were great. We talked. First time my wife got to meet them, I knew them a little bit, and it was just like we've been friends for years, and it was really great. Why? Well, we're like-minded. We probably line up in politics. We probably line up on religion. We line up in a lot of things, and it's refreshing. And don't get me wrong, I interact with people that are on. I've got 4 other siblings. There's 5 of us. It is so funny. We all grew up in the same house, but all of us are on different spectrums. And say, let's take for politics for one. There's one that's all the way left. There's one just left to center. We have another sibling that's probably a moderate. We have one that's right of center, and then we have another one that's extreme right. So all 5 of us take the full spectrum of politics. And religion's the same way. We all grew up the same household. My mom was Catholic, brought us up as Catholic, and I think I'm the only one that broke away as a Protestant. The other ones still say they're Catholic. I don't think any of my siblings go to church anymore. But they're my siblings. I still love them. And we know that there's certain siblings that you don't talk politics with. So, it's just one of those things. If you know there's probably problems, you probably don't want to, talk about it. And for some reason today, people feel like they can say anything they want. And don't get me wrong, they can't. You can. It's a free world. So we can, luckily, we can say what we want. But it's like people who want to play games that are troublemakers in the games. I've seen them on these YouTube wars. I've heard about them, and someone will say, "You want to play a game with this person?" And I'm like, "I will not play with that person." Why? It's not like I dislike the person to the point where I won't even look at him or say him. It's just I know I will butt heads with this person, and I don't want to butt heads with someone over a game, I want to enjoy the game. So I'd rather not even get into the game. So, but that's me. I try to stay away from trouble, headaches. You know, at my age now, I've learned I don't. There's enough problems in the world, enough problems with, you know, finances and houses and everything else going on. I don't need the one thing I enjoy, games and my business. I don't need trouble, and I see it. You know, of course, you know, we get emails and messages and stuff like that. I try to be the best person I can to these people. Last night I had a guy, of course, you know, I work long hours, get here early in the morning, worked the afternoon, and I had a guy emailing me last night about designing a game. And he said, well, we started a game, and he was asking me a million questions about how to design games, how to start, how to do this. And I was tired. I was trying to relax, but I was answering him. And finally I had to say, okay, yeah, let's just pick this up another time, because, you know, I'm thinking, like, you know, I got to have some downtime, you know, away from work. And he was he was asking, like, basic questions. And how did you design Global War 1936? Oh my gosh. That's not something I can text someone, you know. So anyway, and I know there's people that have been cross with me. They've got upset, or, you know, they've left and they said, well, I'll never buy from HBG, and that's unfortunate. But it's just the way it is. I mean, everyone's got different personalities, and I've never blown up at anyone here. Now, I'll have to find a recording sometime. I have a guy that did blow up at me one time, and he went on for 20 minutes plus. We actually recorded it, 20 minutes plus, and in this 20-minute conversation, I'm sorry, it wasn't a conversation, because conversation would be two-way. It was one way, directed at me. He probably had 200 cuss words in it, if not more. I was like, oh my gosh. And some people go, well, how do you even keep your composure? I was like, you know what? I've been around a long time. I've been called worse than that. And when I say I've been called worse than that, it happens. I haven't been in a fight since, I think, age 6. Of course, I am 6'4", 280 pounds. You know, people look at me and go, oh, if he's a fighter, I don't want to try to scrap with him, but not much of a fighter. I consider myself strong. But anyway, that's a whole nother deal. So anyway, I just want to talk about that. People, you know, HBG is praying for you, the Ukraine. Like I said, we do have ties with a designer and some people who do work for it, and you know, they're people. They're no different than any other war, that people are displaced and people are killed and maimed and all those things that go with war. War's never good, even though we consider ourselves war gamers, strategists, you know, simulators, whatever you want to call gamer. We enjoy the strategy, and I'm number one. I love strategy. Like I said, I probably played 1,000 games at Risk in the 1970s, you know, in junior high and high school, and then moved up to, you know, other games and discovered Axis and Allies in the 80s and kept on going. But I've played many other games. I always loved strategy, so it's just one of those things. But I just wanted to touch base, and like I said, I'm not chewing anyone out. I'm not getting on anyone's case. I just wanted to hear from me, you know, where we sit on things, where we stand. We definitely stand, you know, whether you agree whether we should be in the Ukraine or not. I mean, that's a whole nother subject, and we definitely won't get into it here. Whether you think, you know, we should have boots on the ground as Americans in the Ukraine, that's a whole nother subject. But we can at least feel bad, and I will definitely have my thoughts and prayers for the people in the Ukraine. And if my guy comes back and he says, yeah, we could really use some more supplies or food and everything, I'll send him money. That's what I can do as a person from, you know, thousands of miles away. That's what I can do. because it doesn't matter if I agree with, the way this country's handling itself. They're still human beings, and this is a good person, and I'm sure my designer, he's got family there. They're good people as well. So anyway, I'll be making another video in a few days, but hopefully you take this to heart, and I know a lot of you are probably on the same page, and if you're not, that's okay. That's fine. We're all different. We're all individuals, and we all have, we all stand for what we stand for. So it's good. Like I said, I would never shove anything down your throat or put into your mind that you don't agree with. All I ask in the same respect is, back at me. Don't cram it down my throat, and just because you don't agree with my politics or agree with my religion or agree with the way I conduct historical board gaming. Yeah, you can give me your input. Sure, I'll listen. I don't say I know everything. I'm always up to criticism, constructive criticism, but just not slanders. It just doesn't mean anything when you're just really going after someone. So, but anyway, this is Friday. I hope everyone has a good weekend. I know some of us will be glued to the television, see what's going on, and staying up on that. So you all take care. And this is Doug from Historical Board Gaming. We'll see you another day.